Microsoft Dynamics ERP gives over 350,000 small and mid-sized businesses complete control over their finances, supply chain, and decision to finding information with an easy-to-use and easy-to-deploy ERP solution. Learn more at bondconsultingservices.com and take a test drive of Microsoft Dynamics GP.
So why are we here? Why are small and mid-sized businesses increasingly looking to the cloud as a preferred method of deploying and consuming software? And while cloud deployments are growing faster than our traditional methods, not all businesses are ready to take their technology to the cloud. And what are some of the factors that you might consider when evaluating the shift in your business applications, whether to move it to the cloud or to keep it on premise? Some are what we'll talk about today. When I think about a business solution from Microsoft Dynamics, whether it's in the cloud or hosted in your servers on premise, you're able to better manage your financials, your supply chain, and operations. Microsoft technology and our solutions are designed to support your business goals and growth ambitions, whether that's around a key initiative, say growing more efficiently, or connecting with your customers, or safeguarding your business, or just connecting to that business no matter where you are. So as I was saying, the cloud, it represents a total disruption, a shift in how technology is evaluated, how it is discovered, how it's purchased and consumed. And the example I shared is as a kid growing up, I remember going to the video store, and we would rent a VHS tape. We'd get in the car, we'd go to the video store, we'd pick out a movie, and we had it for about 7 days. And today, for me to have that similar experience of watching a movie on the weekend, it's a matter of sitting on my couch, firing my Xbox, connecting to the cloud via Xbox Live service, and then initiating the Netflix app, and boom, I've got a movie in a matter of minutes. And again, similarly, the music industry, you think about today, I'm able to purchase a song and able to stream that on any of my mobile devices, my computers, my TV, whatever it is. And while that's on the consumer side, it certainly has made a huge shift in business. We think about cloud demand, and it's not necessarily driven by a shift in technology so much as by a huge, radically different set of expectations. There is a great deal of pressure for you to leverage technology to help you maintain your competitive edge, but at what cost? And there's always increasing pressure to preserve capital and to, wherever possible, substitute your operating expenses for capital expenditures. So for cloud, and it outlines some key benefits for deploying your ERP in the cloud. And I'll walk through each one of these so it's a little bit easier to digest. So when I think about the case for the cloud and why customers are coming to Microsoft and looking for a solution, it's around being able to connect and collaborate virtually anywhere. It's being able to make better, more informed decisions. But I think more importantly, and where we see a tremendous amount of success, is in the ability to have an agile and flexible solution, whether how my business is today or as I change my business, does that solution allow me to adapt accordingly? When I think about why businesses move to the cloud, certainly there are some statistics here that are resounding in the 93% that increases productivity, outside the office. But for me, what connects to this slide or to this message is that, a couple of years ago, back in the mid-2000s, there was all this hype about how important it was for an organization or a business to go green. In fact, I recall there was a commercial from a tech leader, I'll leave them nameless, and the commercial began with these executives in the boardroom, and they were deciding on how or why technology was going to help them be quote-unquote green. And as the executives sat around the boardroom and they were scratching their head, it wasn't until that they understood how that initiative was going to contribute to their bottom line did their eyes light up and these birds flew out. And the same goes for the cloud. until I understand how is it going to help me save money or increase revenue, that's where I get those big moments. What do we expect as consumers or as business users for a cloud provider? Want a trusted relationship. We want to know where our data is, and do I trust that relationship with the provider? And it's also important to know that Microsoft offers what customers expect from a cloud provider. Statistics show that working with a single provider around my email, my calendar, my collaboration, and also my business management software, your accounting and ERP, is what we're looking for. It's what is preferred. And then you can certainly see just some of the comments that we see from customers who are looking at Microsoft in the cloud. So to support that, I wanted to share with you just some ideas of scenarios that we see with the applications, the business applications working together with our productivity software such as Microsoft Office or Exchange and Word and Excel. But in this case here, using the cloud versions though. So if you're not familiar with something called Office 365, it's a series of services that Microsoft offers for you to connect and use those applications, but in a web-based or in the cloud environment. So the first scenario I have is around collaboration. And when I think about it, I've got access to my data repository, basically my folder structure. So I'm in Office 365. We've got all of our team documents stored here, and I've uploaded a few of the reports that are coming from our Dynamics ERP system, and one of them is customer balance here at the bottom. So I'll click on that, and it opens up for me in the online version of Excel. And so I've got here, again, a list of my customers, their numbers, and customer balance. But I want to work in a smaller subset of that, so I'm going to head and edit that. I can either work on the desktop version of my Excel, or in this case here, the online version. And so now I'm in a mode of edit. So the first thing I want to do is I want to streamline this data because I don't need all the customers, but it's just the ones that are having a direct impact on my business, and that's those top 10 customers. So I'll click on the filters, and then I'll select on just the top 10. I can certainly change that number in this box here. So I've got my customer numbers, my customer name, and now I have just the top 10 customers, which, again, from analysis, I can see who are those folks that I probably should focus on in terms of calling and collecting. But I might want to look at this in a more graphical way, so I can hold down with my control key column B and column C, and then simply insert, and with all of the rich functionality in Excel, be able to maybe throw that into a graphical view. In this case here, I just threw it into a bar chart. So what I've got is data from my ERP system now enable me to filter and look at this information in a much more meaningful manner. And I can certainly see that Contoso as well as One Design Systems are two organizations I need to kind of check to see what is available as far as collections. Now, I also want to do a save as here, so I can do a file, save as. And I took the existing report that the system provided, but I've got a different name for it now. It's called the top 10 customers. And I'll go ahead and save that out and click back into my folder structure. So what you've seen here is essentially I took some existing report, in this case here the customer balance, from my Office 365 document library, opened it in the online version of Excel, so I'm able to quickly edit and do information right on my desktop. But now by saving this out onto this site, I can get to this from any of my other devices, regardless of the platform. So next, what I want to do is talk about the calendaring and the integration we have here. And I just started to build out this particular calendar. I've got some recurring meetings. Here on the 26th, there was a stock count, so every day on the 26th, we do an inventory stock. And then I started to build out some recurring meetings with my sales team. So here is our Contoso, it's our sample company, and I want to look at the dashboard and talk about some of the current opportunities our sales folks are having. So I'll grab the link here and I'll open this up again. I'm in an Office 365 in my Dynamics ERP workspace. And you can see on the left-hand side, I've got a financial inventory purchasing and sales dashboard. These are sample dashboards. You can go out today to the Office store and download these sample dashboards. And then obviously for our Dynamics ERP customers, they can connect it to their existing database. So I'm just in sample mode here, but you can see I've got in this dashboard a quick view of my top customers, my top 5 salespeople. Over on the right-hand side, I've got a graphical view of the top 5 salespeople by revenue, and then a date slider where I can adjust that. Well, again, I want to look at this in Excel, and so I can open this up, and it opens me up into the different elements of that dashboard. You could see at the bottom of the tabs, all that data is fed independently from the worksheets. And I think the great thing about what we're doing for our customers is streamlining their experience that these are pre-built. Now, kind of the nice connection point here as I kind of segue into the Dynamics ERP system is here I am in Excel in the online version of it, and I can go ahead and I see these hyperlinks of the customers that were driving the data from my dashboard. When I click on Aster Suites, it launches me and brings me into the Dynamics ERP. In this case here, I'm in my web client. I'm in the web experience of the accounting system. And so I've opened up the customer maintenance record, and I can do some analysis, so I can look at some information here. Just to point out yet again another experience from the integration of a web-based solution and a single solution from Microsoft, you can see over to the left of my name is I've got Presence Aware. So using something called Link, which allows me to embed or incorporate communications with people inside my organization, or in this case, external customers or vendors. So I can see that in this case here, this vendor is either busy or is on a do not disturb. Once that turns to green, I can certainly invoke an instant message directly within the email system or within the ERP system. And then maybe another analysis is I can select on this, and by default, I've got a receivable aging, and I might want to take a look, again, via a web-based, some SQL Server reporting services reports right within the system. So again, when I looked at why that was important here, we've got integration with the Outlook or with Exchange, Calendar, and now I'm going to move into my Outlook. So again, my email inbox, some of the integration points is being able to invoke and distribute documents via email. So here's a Word document that we've authored, and it's coming in from my ERP system. So when I think about how daunting maybe learning a new system can be, being able to edit and design reports within Microsoft Word obviously makes sense, and then I can use email, my Office 365 inbox, to be able to distribute those reports. So here's an example of a sample purchase order, and then I've also gotten set up here an example of a sales order document. So again, from here I can distribute, send out, or print out however I see fit. So just to recap, so I've kind of began with and showed some of the integrations of Office 365, Microsoft's cloud solutions for email and Outlook and Exchange, and it's obviously Word and Excel. But I know a lot of folks, when you come to these webcasts, you want to see product. So what I'll do is I just kind of wanted to walk you through, again, here's the web version of our Dynamics ERP product. I want to be able to connect anywhere on any device. So I am launched into here, and you can see the role-based homepage for me. I've got a couple of different things set up here. I've personalized my to-dos in the bottom left. On the right, I've got the quick links, whether it's an outside website, or I want to connect to those the workspaces I mentioned to you in the Office store, or I'm just going to do a quick invoke a transaction right from in these favorites of quick links. I've got some reports in the top right corner that will display for me. Well, let's take a look at this. So I'm going to click up and just first thing what I'm going to do here is in payables, I want to just kind of show you how would I enter a payables transaction and print a check. So I've got the list over on the left-hand side. I can click on my vendors, and I can see all the vendors that I have here in this list view. When I select on Advanced Office Systems, you'll notice the ribbon up top. Again, we've seen the ribbon introduced back in Office of 2007, a really simple way for us to streamline and surface common tasks associated with the area that you're in. So I'm in purchasing. I select Advanced Office. What can I do with that? I can email. I can create a vendor. I can select an invoice. I can apply a hold. In this case here, I just want to go ahead and select a payables transaction. And I click on Invoice. And a couple of required fields here. I need to get my document. You'll notice, again, I showed earlier that on the customer maintenance, there was link integration to show presence or where. Here, I've got my outside vendor set up such that I can see that they're currently online. I'll go ahead and set up purchases here. So I want to write a check for $475. And I just simply go ahead and select that, print the check. Select OK, grabs the checkbook from Uptown Trust, and print. It's as simple as that. We'll close out that window here, and we'll close out my payables transaction. So again, just want to give you a sense of a fully functional, robust ERP cloud-based solution, and building the case for the cloud. Well, the next scenario and the last scenario in terms of the presentation I want to share with you was I showed payables or purchasing. Well, what about sales and accounts receivable? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up sales. I want to show you a list of customers. I want to apply a hold to some of the customers, and then apply a receipt document, and then I'll print an age trial balance. So I click on the sales, and again, you could see some of the filters of the lists on the left-hand side. I just want to see all of my customers right now. Notice the personalization. I've got an entirely different view than I did in purchasing, where in this case here, I didn't need the preview at the bottom. I just wanted to see a full list. And in this case here, I've got 3 customers that we're not quite sure what's happening in their business. I'm a little worried that their receivables is growing. So just to ensure controls and compliance, I want to make customers are applied on a hold. So until we resolve whatever situations are outstanding, again, I've got a great visual cue for anyone that goes into sales order. They can't place transactions for those customers. Secondly, I'm going to select Alton Manufacturing and apply a sales document. So I'll go ahead and highlight them. Again, the ribbon highlights based on my selection. Kind of a neat feature here is I go ahead and auto-apply. So I'm going to select the payment number that we received for this customer. And I've got this auto-apply. So you can see all the outstanding invoices down below. But I'm going to go ahead and select auto-apply, and the logic within the Dynamics ERP system is telling me, based on the date, the due date, we should have really applied that $15,000. We should apply it to this $15,000, that payment. Now, for me, I want to have a little bit of control in the organization, so I can deselect that, and I'll select this $6,000. Maybe I want to make sure that that amount's just covered, and let's just get it off the books. I'll click OK, and that's done. And then the last thing I'll do here, I just want to make sure the check here is I can select these customers, and we'll go ahead and print an age trial balance. I can include or not include some of the details. I'll choose to not include those details, and now you've got an age trial balance within Microsoft Word.